What up, seniors? So I'm going to be doing video lectures that are broken down into the subtasks of the Learning Target homework. And right now, even though we talked about these in class on Friday, I was just going to go through them one more time. This is going to be subtask 1 and 2, and you're going to be able to find the information that you would do the homework about on pages 1, 2, and the top of page 3 in the Learning Targets. Good news is a lot of this is stuff we've already talked about before. So first off, light energy is the initial source of energy for almost every ecosystem on Earth. Unless you are a chemoautotroph doing chemoautotrophy down in like the deep ocean by volcanic vents, you are probably a plant that is going to use the pigment chlorophyll to trap light energy. And then that light energy is used to synthesize organic molecules, notably sugar. Sugar is what you would make at the end of photosynthesis, using carbon that has been carbon fixed out of the air and carbon dioxide. From that source of organic sugar, then plants can convert those into other organic molecules that organisms need, including other carbohydrates, lipids, and amino acids. So that's how a lot of food chains get started. Almost every single food chain on Earth starts with a producer because they are the autotrophs and they're the ones that can make the food energy that is going to travel on up the food chain as organisms consume one another. So here we've got a couple example food chains. They all start with a producer or an autotroph, as we can see labeled down there. And from there you go on to a series of consumers. Now what we have over here are the trophic levels: producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, and tertiary consumer. Those are their feeding positions, or their trophic level. So a trophic level is just the feeding position of an organism in a food chain, and a food chain really just shows the flow of energy through trophic levels. It shows feeding relationships, but it really shows the way the energy is flowing through those organisms. So if we expand that to a food web, like the one I've shown here, that's going to show all of the feeding relationships in a community, remembering that a community are the living organisms in an ecosystem. So the goal here is that you should be able to pick out 3 and 4 trophic level food chains, and also explain why it's possible for an organism to occupy more than one trophic level. With that information, you should be able to attempt any of the questions in the learning targets on page 1, 2, or 3. The deal with a lot of this independent learning that's going to be happening with the sort of restricted and remote instruction that we're doing is that independence means that you're going to have to be responsible for asking for help. So I'm here. I would love to help you with any of these tasks if you have questions on them, but you're going to have to be the one that reaches out. You can do it either during my office hours or via email or any other means that you can contact me by. So that's subtask 1 and 2 in the learning targets.